Welcome to the Dr. Jeff Experience. We are live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live on YouTube, and we've got a really good one tonight. Make sure you tag everybody, tag all your friends on Facebook, tag all your friends on YouTube, share the link with everyone because we want you to come on in. And man, we got some brothers who are going to be talking about some great things with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We're going to be talking about this year's Conclave, which is going to be held in Tampa, Florida, place I'm very familiar with. It is the 84th Conclave. So we're going to talk about some of the positive things that come through that. We've got some brothers who've been around for a long time, way longer than me, but they're my brothers. They're my chapter brothers. Matter of fact, let me just bring them in. And also, we're going to talk about their entrepreneurship. Wait until you see what these brothers are doing off the chain. So let me bring them in. We got Brother Steve-O, Brother Steve Smith. We got Dr. Jimmy Powell, Brother Jimmy Powell.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And as we say, rude to the good bros.
Rude.
Been a long time. I've been waiting to be able to say that, man. So,
well, Doc, I tell you, you earned the right, man. You earned the right.
My man. Well, listen, man, we've been sharing. I sent you guys the link while we're talking. If you want to send that link out, we're going to post it with our group page. Let folks know to come on in. We'll be taking on some comments. We already got one, of course, from my lovely one, who's always a great audience member, listening in to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Your number one cheerleader?
Number one cheerleader, man. I'm so thankful for her, for sure, man.
Oh, no doubt.
A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, right?
Oh, such a good thing, man. So listen, I want to get right into it, man. We're talking about the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, started on the campus of Howard University on November 17th, 1911, by those three powerful undergraduates, Bishop Edgar Amos Love, Dr. Oscar James Cooper, Professor Frank Coleman, and their faculty advisor, Dr. Ernest Everett Just. Mm-hmm. They set out to do some great things in the community, in the society for Black men. And, they live by this motto of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. And that's what we uphold. And we've got some brothers who are doing that tonight. Brother Steve-O, come on, introduce yourself, man. Let us know who you are and when you crossed over. And let's go from there.
Okay, absolutely, Brother Jeff. Man, I'm Steve Smith. Well, Stephen Smith. They call me Steve-O. I'm Spring 85, Mighty YE, Jackson State University. As it relates to Omega, I was introduced to it when I was 14 years old. And in fact, my neighborhood hero had gone off and had pledged and had an opportunity to spend the summer with him. And he exposed me to Omega. And Omega became my reason for everything as it relates to higher education. I wanted to go to school to be a Q dog. I didn't care nothing about what I was going to go to school to major in. I wanted to go because I wanted to be cute. So I tell, and I ended up in higher ed, and I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter why you want to go. What matters is that you get there.
Right.
And so Omega for me, it has been such a blessing, man, because I've had, with my career, I've had to move around. And, I've lived in the 9th district. I was born in the 7th district. Spent time in the 5th district, lived in the 4th district, and now I'm back in the 7th. And everywhere I've gone, Omega has provided a friendship for me. And what I'll say, Bro Jeff and Bro Jimmy, is that what I often say to brothers, when I think about this incredible fraternity that we have here, man, is that what the founders have chosen you. That's how you should carry yourself. You should carry yourself as if you are in company of the founders, wanting them to choose you to become a part of Omega. And I dare say that there are a lot of brothers out there probably wouldn't make the cut, man, if I'm just going to call it fair. And so I always want to put myself in a position to have been chosen by the founders. And this fraternity has done so much for me, so much for my family. I have 2 sons who are Omega. One is your line brother, Bro Jeff, and one pledged at Alcorn, which is Ada chapter. I have 2 more that I'm looking that I can't wait for them to come into the fold. And my wife, all of the, I have 2 daughters who are Deltas and my wife who is a Delta. So we D9, we Coleman love all of that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Listen, we got brothers checking in from all over the place. That's Brother William Marsh, Brother Speedy Marsh from Upsilon Alpha in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Okay.
That's my man, my home. This, you say you were raised. These are the guys that raised me, man, from childhood, man. I remember my mother used to say, before I played football, basketball, tennis, whatever sport it was, the coach had to be a Q. My mother wouldn't allow me to be on anybody's team unless they were a Q.
Wow.
Much love to your mom, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because she knew, where that was coming from. So we got him checking in. Brother Quincy is checking in.
Good brother.
Glad to have you, man. Brother Yeem, I think you know who that young fella is. Yeah, Brother Marsh, friendship is essential to the soul. Brother Cash, we welcome you tonight, man. So, yeah, we got people listening, man. Brother Jimmy Powell, so introduce yourself, man.
Well, Brother Jeff, first I'd like to thank you for inviting me on the podcast, and now I'm going to be pissed with you just a little bit.
Okay.
You had me follow Brother Steve, and, he's so eloquent,
But we got to go protocol. You learn that.
And I love my chapter brothers, one of our tenements is scholarship, right? And it's great to be amongst so many men, with their doctorate degrees, and me with my lonely master's degree. But it's okay. It's okay.
It's all good, man.
You guys treat me all right. You all treat me all right.
It's all good.
I crossed into Omega Fall 17 Zeta Beta Beta chapter. And I'm so honored and blessed that my son crossed just this spring to be one of your line brothers and your race. But it's for so long, it's been a family affair for me, and I would dare say my favorite relatives happen to be Omegas, but literally our family is more almost like the Panhellenic Council. Okay. And we have representation across the D9 in our family. But most importantly, what inspired me to go to college was my Uncle Sterling and my cousin Alexander. Both of them crossed Florida A&M. And upside. So being a young person and seeing that, and in particularly, my cousin Morris was the first Black man I had ever met that was an engineer. Okay.
Wow.
And he encouraged me to say, well, if I can do it, you can do it too, young man, and he was kind of buffed in. He was in the military. I believe he was a captain at the time. And he had his hits. And I said, well, what's going on with that? And he explained to me his fraternity, as well as that he was a mechanical engineering major. And I said, well, I'm thinking about being an engineer. And I was probably about 10, 12, maybe, fairly young. And that was instrumental in my life. So for him to say, if I can do it, you can do it too. And representation does matter in our communities. So as we mentor in our communities, Jeff, you mentioned the coaches that you had and your mom wanted you to work with those. But our chapter is very busy in the Gainesville and Athens chapter with our mentee groups, working with young men to be able to kind of show them, there's another side of this thing, and there's people in your community, and if we can do it, you can do it too.
Absolutely. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you guys, and really a pleasure to now be your fraternity brother as a part of Zeta Beta Beta Athens chapter, graduate chapter. It is a pleasure. It was good to have you guys around through our process, and Brother Powell, great to have your son, who was our ace, which means he was our lead guy. He was number one.
Ace was setting the pace, baby.
Ace set the pace, man. Ace set the pace for sure. Well, look,
rock solid. Look,
yeah, for sure, man.
His Omega is bigger than mine. He hazes me at the house now, so I'll put that out there now.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to jump right into this. We're days away from the 84th Grand Conclave, which is to be held in Tampa, Florida, a place that I know very well. I lived there for 11 years, my wife and family, before we came to Atlanta in 2016. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I still got some unreadiness about the state of Florida and its politics. But
Okay.
we're going to get past that. So, Brother Steve-O, tell me, you've been to different conclaves. Tell me about that whole experience. What happens with that?
And it for a lot of brothers, you have brothers who go and take care of business. Those are the brothers who will register and do the business of Omega. And then you have the brothers who outnumber the ones who are there taking care of business, who come, and it's an Omega homecoming, man.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're in a space with your line brothers. You haven't been with them or slept with them in the same space since you were online, or in some cases, or when you were very young. And then you have an opportunity to see brothers that you've known over the years, and it's just an incredibly great time. My favorite clave that I've gone to was New Orleans in '98. Okay. It was just an epic clave for me. Unfortunately, I did not get to go to DC for the 100. I was trying to finish up my PhD at the time, and it was crunch time, and I just had to sacrifice scholarship for fun. Mm-hmm, but man, when I tell you, for me, I'm a people watcher, and it's amazing to me when I look at all the brothers, different shapes and sizes, different skin tones, different careers, and to think that all of this came from 3 kids, man, who was 19 and 20 years old. When I look at who they were and why they did what they did in creating this organization, it just makes me even more prouder to be a part of it. And I think I told you, and I'm going to kind of sway just for a second, man. I lost a chapter brother today, good brother. I was his dean of pledges, man.
Oh, wow.
My condolences.
This is Garrow. We called him Space. Good brother, man. And I remember I was thinking about Space, man, and when they were pledging, and it's amazing. He had the incredible ability to be able to hide to hide, but to be in clear sight, but to be able to hide, man. I don't ever remember. I was trying to think about this. I don't ever remember having to discipline Space.
Wow.
He always did the right thing, man.
Wow.
And I told you all, Brother Fun, that man, it's a lot of fun as an organization, but it's a lot of pain, a lot of trials and tribulation, man, because you take on the burden of your friends, man.
Yeah.
Share that love. And so, and I just, I thought about Space, and he lived here in Atlanta, man. He's just a great brother. And I loved him, man. And he has great line brothers, man. His ace set the pace, who was really with them all the way through his process of going on to the hereafter, man. And he stayed and did what he was supposed to do as a brother, man. But this organization has just been so instrumental in my life, and I just love the brothers of it, and I just love what we mean, because we mean it. When we say friendship is essential to the soul, we mean it. We're not in it to have people think that we are whatever they would think that we are. We are serious about friendship and brotherhood, man.
Right.
And that's what I'll put out there. And the clave, just going back to that, it's just an incredible time, Jeff. I'm glad you're going. I am boycotting, man. I just couldn't do Florida. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't spend my money there, but I'm glad the brothers, are going and they have a good time. And Jeff, you'll meet a lot of. That's what I want you to do, is just meet as many brothers as you possibly can, man.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. I got friends, man, in Pi Iota from Tampa. A lot of those brothers, they were actually some of my church members.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm looking to see a bunch of them. The brothers, as we see, Brother Marsh is on here. He's from Upsilon Alpha from Lansing, New Jersey. A couple of those brothers are going. I'm looking forward. It's a lot of guys, man. Like I say, man, I came up in this the same way.
I'll say this, Jeff. The beauty of that is that your friends will become your line brothers' friends.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. That's it.
The ripple effect, man.
Yeah. That's it. Brother Marsh, he says Conclave is overwhelming. Atlanta was his first experience, and what an incredible opportunity to witness true brotherhood. Atlanta was live. Brother Steele, Dr. William Steele from North Carolina, he was a principal down in our area, and very influential person. He drove me down. That's amazing. Brother Powell, tell me about your experiences.
Well, this will be my third conclave, and I was considering boycotting, but I had a move in my spirit to go ahead and participate. In particularly, it will be my son's first conclave, so we're going to do it together. But my first conclave was 2018 in New Orleans. So 20 years past yours, you're talking about a great experience.
Wow, it was hot.
Yes, I can't think of a better experience, and to have my first conclave in New Orleans, and it was absolutely fantastic, and it was a great experience. To be able to meet so many brothers from all over the globe, necessarily, but much less the United States, but all over the globe, and to be able to participate in some of our business meetings, but more so some of the personal meetings that we have that are for brothers only. And I think it also gives every single community an opportunity to see some of the things that we can do as an organization, as a brotherhood. In particularly, I've spent many years working with the Talent Hunt Committee, and the Talent Hunt program at the international level is a demonstration level where we bring in these young people from all of our districts district winners across the United States for them to perform on an international platform to be able to display their talents, because I think that might be something in the vision of the brothers in the 6th district. You mentioned North Carolina, the 6th district, where Talent Hunt was started and founded, that we need to be able to encourage our youth today. We need to hone them on all sides. We have athletics, that's very popular in our community, but we also need to promote and hone academics, which we do, but also the arts, and we have some very creative people, and to be able to give them opportunity to display that on an international level, I think is absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the things I continue to work with today is the Talent Hunt program with the chapter and beyond. But so I'm kind of getting excited about it. Florida is almost my second home. I have a lot of relatives there in Florida, and I look forward to meeting some new friends and maybe some old friends there at Conclave as well too.
Yeah, I tell you, it is my first. So, I vacillated back and forth about protesting, even though it was paid. And but I got to be honest, I would do anything to get back to Tampa to go to Frenchie's restaurant. Frenchie's restaurant it's like about 6 of them within a 2-block radius, man. I don't even know how they do it, but all of them are packed. So and they're right on the beach. Brother Steve, you understand?
I've been there. Yeah.
I am waiting to get some she crab soup and some jalapeno poppers. That's all I'm waiting for.
I was going to ask you, what do they serve at Frenchie's? I know they have the blue crab down there in that part of Florida.
They got this she crab soup, man, that I found one place here in Atlanta. I'm not going to tell anybody because I don't want you going there and messing it up for me. But if you ask me in person, I'll share it with you. But you talked about, Brother Powell, what the business meeting, Brother Steve, the business meetings that take place within the conclave. Once you mention it, hey, I'm going down to the conclave, everybody thinks, oh, you're going down, big step show, big party, this, that, and the other. But no, it's much more than that. And I want you guys to talk about the impact that, man, I think I just saw something that said 9,000 registered and probably over about another 30,000.
Absolutely.
That will show up. And I know that one of the big meetings is taking place. It's a new movement, is the STEM. I know one of my classmates who just graduated at Howard University School of Divinity He's a member of Beta Lambda Lambda chapter here in Gwinnett. Reverend Rico Miller. He is big in ministry and STEM, which is an amazing combination of way he's put that together. I know that he will be part of that whole STEM conference there. But can you guys talk about some of the meetings and how what happens at the Conclave has a positive impact on not just these United States, but we're an international organization. So, yeah, you'll see some hopping and you'll see some parties, but even more, we are there to do the business of making our communities better because of what those young undergraduate students and their faculty advisors put forth back in 1911. We'll start off with you, Brother Steve-O. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, what one of my things that I am really excited about is the opportunities for our younger brothers who are undergrad to win scholarships, man. To help them to get through school, to help them with any other expenses that they may have. And also, the Clave kind of sets the standard for how the how the organization is going to operate, going forward. I remember years ago when I was actually an assistant advisor back in 89, 90, when they changed the MSP process and all of that. During my time, we pledged up top is what we called it, and then we went from that process to doing MSP, and all of those decisions were made, at conclaves. And so, of course, a lot of the voting will take place on who's going to lead the organization and those kinds of things. So it's for brothers who, and I have to be very honest, I've never been that brother who's going to go and do meetings and that kind of thing. I'm going to pay my dues and I'm going to work in the community where I live, but I'm hanging with the bros when I go to the club. That's what I'm doing. I may go to a district meeting or a state meeting, but Clave, I'm sorry, I'm hanging with the bros. Jimmy, I'll let Bro Jimmy handle those meetings and do Omega's work.
There's my classmate, Dr. Lamar McIntyre from the Mighty Third Alpha chapter in D.C. checking in, man. Good to have you, Dr. Lamar, Bishop Lamar. Glad to have you. Look forward to seeing you at the Clave and then down at the homecoming at the Howard University. Make sure you take good care of me now. Make sure you take good care of me. Brother Jimmy, let's talk about those meetings.
I mean, if you're so fortunate to be able to represent your chapter as a delegate at the International Conclave, which only occurs every 2 years. So that's another reason why it makes it so special, Jeff, that it's an opportunity, I guess, for renewal amongst the Brotherhood. And like I say, it only happens every 2 years. But even at the state district level, that occurs every year, those state and district meetings. If you're so fortunate to be selected as a delegate by your chapter, it can kind of keep you very busy with meetings, but there's opportunity to fellowship always with the bros, So, and I think there's room for both, those meetings are so strategic in the operation of Omega. Every conclave I've been to, every district meeting I've been to, every state meeting I've been to, I learned something new regarding the business of Omega. And what we have to be very clear on is to be in alignment with the international organization. And the conclave serves to be able to pull the fold together and to be able to spend that time together and meditate, to get all hearts and minds clear necessarily if there's some ambiguity about certain things, to get that worked through. But as well, the training that can occur for officer positions, for committee positions, etc. It is a one-stop shop. And for those brothers who might be in an area that's a little bit more remote and a little bit more isolated outside of the southeast of the United States, where the Brotherhood can get a little bit more sparse the further out we go from the 7th district and as far out as the international districts. It gives them an opportunity to be able to have that fellowship. Now, for me personally, one of the most emotional, enlightening, motivating parts of the conclave is memorial service, where we remember those brothers who've passed on and give reverence to that. And it's a spiritual experience to, kind of, I'm trying to find the right word here, but the closest thing I can come to is a spiritual experience. And I don't mean to compare it to the Holy Spirit, but we are a Christian organization. And the Spirit has moved in that room and will continue to move in that room as we perform that. And I'm not going to go into detail because that's for Bruz only, but it is an opportunity for us to have that moment of reverence for our brothers who've departed in the last year and think about that. And because we are a brotherhood, and help us value those relationships that we have today, and as you friendship is essential to the soul.
Yes, sir.
And it can teach you about the value of friendship as well too. So yeah, I think it's an absolutely phenomenal experience. And especially for the undergraduate students, for those brothers, not unlike yourself, Dr. Jeff, who've recently crossed, it's very good timing that, shortly after you cross, you get to attend a conclave, and I think it'll also boost your spirit, boost your morale, and also enlighten you to some of the ways of Omega.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Powell. I want to go back to what Brother Steve-O was talking about, and Bishop Lamar, who was my classmate from Howard. We all understand that we look through Christianity through a lens of an Afrocentric way of understanding our ancestors and that sort of thing. So, Brother Powell, as you were talking about the seriousness of these meetings, and Brother Smith, when you talked about the fact that the seriousness and the depth of those 3 young men and their faculty advisor in the starting of this organization in 1911, I'm often compelled to think about whatever I do and how I represent the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Am I living up to those founders? And I often invoke that spirit, the spirits of those young gentlemen into the fold to make sure that, and study exactly what they did to make sure that we're living up to this. Of course, there are those who are going to do this, but that's in any organization. But I think it's important that as we move forward, we continue to uphold what it is that they put forth for us throughout our communities, throughout our nation, to make it better, to make us better. And Brother Powell, you mentioned that during those meetings and the seriousness of it, especially the memorial service when we commemorate those who have gone on before us. And what the public needs to understand is this is a organization of rules and standards and policies that every chapter, everybody involved needs to uphold, or there are consequences for this. And as I know, you don't just open the door to this organization and do a handshake and say, okay, you're a part of this. No,
you don't.
There's a process to this, my friend, and it's firm, but it's fair. But in all seriousness, I want to talk about what is the impact that you have seen from being a part of Omega Psi Phi in the community and then in your lives itself.
Well, look, I'll speak. We talk about in days of joy or years of pain, man. I think about my first job. My first job Well, I think about a summer job. I remember when I went home, I went to see my mentor, who was a bruh, and I remember when I first crossed, I went home and I went to see him. I went to his house, and when he saw me, I was wearing a frat shirt, and he knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't let him know that I was pleasure. And so when I went to his house, I mean, I could see tears, well up in his eyes. And when he said that he was going to give me something, and all this stuck with me forever, ever since I've been in the fraternity, which is 39 years now. He said, "You're special, man. So I have to give you something that I love because I love you." And that was something that I did. I started from when he did that for me when I was 2 months into in the frat. I started that tradition myself. There was a brother who I loved who was related to me. I wanted to make sure that I gave them something that I wouldn't give to just anyone else. And so then I think about how again how my family and I've had to move and to go into communities where we didn't know anyone, but I had friends, man, and I mean, who made sure that we knew which church to go to, who made sure that where we live was going to be safe for my wife and for my children, who made sure that the kids were able to meet other kids who would instantly be their friends, who made sure that we had only thing we needed to do was just exist. And it was all through Omega, man. And which is why I refuse to ever disrespect her. People get us misunderstood because they see us in a certain light. And yeah, we've earned that. And yeah, we all of that, but we're so much more, man. And you can't encapsulate us. If you look at us, it's hard to say what type of man makes a Q or what types of man makes an Omega, because we're so diverse.
Yeah.
We have intellectuals like Bro Jimmy, we have jocks, we have brothers who are in the ministry, like brother Jeff. We're just so diverse, man. And I brag on us because even though Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan had the fame and the fortunes, they still wanted Omega.
Yeah.
And they didn't get Omega until they had the fortune and the fame. That's what you got to remember now. That's, you know what I mean? That isn't when we look at these brothers, when we look at a D.L. Hewlett, when we look at a George Clinton, who gave us our unofficial anthem, he always wanted to be Omega. I mean, we even look at the Minister Farrakhan, all of these people, man, who had fame and fortune, but it was something about Omega that they wanted to be a part of their soul, man. And that's why I refuse to ever disrespect her. I think about brother Mazik, who said, if we make Omega the hardest to obtain, we'll never find ourselves wanting.
Wow.
We'll never find ourselves wanting. And that's how, and what we get it mixed up, absolutely. Omega seeks no man. Men seek Omega. But the founders in those brothers, they made sure that they sought the very best.
That's right.
For Omega on the campus.
That's right.
Because they know that we needed a foundation that wouldn't crack, man.
That's right.
And they allowed they gave us what we needed in order to exist for this day. So, for me, Omega has just been such an integral part of my life, man, that I will cherish and love her forever.
Yeah, you mentioned that friendship is essential to the soul. I was overwhelmed when different brothers from different chapters all around who are friends of mine, like I say, I mean, I grew up on this. Man, packages started coming in every other. I mean, I think I purchased this is a bracelet. I purchased one item of paraphernalia. Everything else came from all friends from different chapters and different, different Qs who were just showing love. And it was like, this is outstanding, man. I mean, it brought me to tears. It really did, man, because I remember that Sunday after we crossed, waking up and going to church with my wife and I. And we were walking in the church, and I stopped and I said to my wife, man, I just feel different. Like I feel different. I feel like, man, I've achieved something great. I mean, I've gone to school and matriculated and got this and got that degree, that degree. Man, this was special, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Brother
well, Jeff, let me just say this. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
No.
And I don't know if I had an opportunity to introduce you guys to before my line brothers came.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Before my line brothers came to watch my son, who they consider their nephews, cross over into Omega, man.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So that shows you how real it is for us.
Wow. I got a question from the household. I know these organizations were established for Black people at their origins, but are there people of other ethnicities who are members? Yeah.
Well, yeah. If memory serves me right, we had our first in 1949. We had an Asian brother to pledge Omega.
Really?
1949, yeah. And remember, these organizations were created because we were not allowed in the other ones. But we've never been one to say,
right.
We have brothers, who are white brothers, who are Asian brothers, who are, Hispanic brothers,
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah. Brother Powell, how about your experience? How do you see the impact into the community? And then how has it been for you, your experience personally as a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated?
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again, brother Jeff. Look, so when you talk about the impact of the community, okay, we necessarily, and I'm going to speak toward the Black community and the Black experience. If you hadn't noticed, I happen to be Black. My dad was Black. My mom was Black. My grandparents are Black. My children are Black. Okay.
Yes,
so I don't like to talk about things that I don't know about. Okay?
That's my statement right there.
So when we talk about the impact on the Black community, and when we have so many households where necessarily whether that's a male figure in the home or someone in the home that may have a certain level of academic experience in this life, okay? And for young people to be able to see college educated, college graduated Black men, and I joined at the graduate level. I wasn't so honored to be a part of Omega Psi Phi as long as Brother Steve-O. But in my 7 years here, it's the impact upon people's faces when they see us. It's uncanny to me, and that's across all demographics. People recognize the brothers of Omega Psi Phi, and oftentimes we're solicited to be able to come into areas and communities and work with other organizations. One, maybe to do representation, but also because of the experiences that these people in these organizations that they've had with Brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity as well too. So it is that ripple effect where necessarily you may not know the impact that you're having on an individual, and you may talk to 100 people and it may not be any impact whatsoever. But ultimately the goal is that if you can change one life, and that one life can change another life, and that life may impact two lives. And that ripple effect continues to go on, because we can talk about these three young men and their advisor. Their advisor was a young man, I have children older than our founders. Okay. All right. So where they were able to have a vision, and a vision for their lives, and also to be able to work within our community, because as we talk about the impact of D9 organizations, which is different necessarily than some other Greek letter organizations, because the intent was that as we do matriculate and graduate, it's one thing that we were not able to join other organizations, but as a postgraduate, it was that a commitment from the organizations to go back into the communities to be able to expose, to uplift, our communities, and it's so for me, and it's it kind of catches me off guard sometimes, the impact that it may have, whether, it could be something very small, and you can be in a room and people can feel very comfortable with you. And whether I'm wearing paraphernalia or not, I can often get asked the question, well, are you in a fraternity? And I'm like, yes. Well, what fraternity? The greatest fraternity on earth.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir.
And they said, well, Jim, we figured you for an Omega, So it's a broad spectrum. It is a diverse group of brothers, but also with that type of, because our motto is friendship is essential to the soul, we do try to exhibit that and that outreach in the community and try to uplift. I mean, that's one of our cardinal principles. It's one thing for me to have my graduate degree and you all to have your doctorate degrees, but I want everyone to be able to have the life that they want to craft for themselves, right?
Sure.
And if I can inspire that, because other people have inspired me in my life, and it's been really, really, really a blessing and an opportunity to experience that. Now, part B of your question was what now?
As far as you are concerned, how has it impacted your life?
How has it impacted my life? Oh, wow. I can talk about potentially all the Omega men that have been along the path in my life. I'm 52 years old. I crossed 7 years ago, but to bring it down from or keep it at a 1,000 foot level than a 10-foot level, is that I never thought, I won't say never, some of my best friends I've had for over 30 plus years. I met them at the North Carolina A&T State University, and necessarily I didn't think I would, at this age in my life, make the type of friendships that I have today, with the brothers that I have, much less chapter brothers internationally, my line brothers, that I never thought I would have that type of relationship at this stage in my life. It's oftentimes that we make certain circles and we kind of forge those circles and those friend groups and this type of thing. And it was so refreshing that we just celebrated my youngest son. I think it was last weekend. Was that last weekend? I think.
Yeah, last week.
And my godmother from North Carolina, her and her sister drove down, and they were so excited that we had had a network, a family, friends. Yeah. And I think one of my relatives might have said, if I see one more man come in here with a purple shirt, because the brothers did show up and show out, and we had a good time, good fellowship. But those are the things that, just like Brother Steve-O, you talked about, you moved different places, but literally we've been in Georgia now going on, I think, 11 or 12 years now. And to be welcomed in and to be loved on, and sometimes you just need that phone call that'll be able to give you encouragement and motivation to keep you going. It's been there. And like I say, and hopefully I've been that type of brother as well, to be able to extend that type of love and friendship, and it's something that I work on and strive on each day, but it's been absolutely remarkable. So for me, it's that, and like I say, I always believed friendship was essential to the soul. That's what attracted me to Omega Psi Phi from the time, when I was first having conversations with my uncle and my cousin. But more importantly, today at 52, I think you understand what friendships are a little bit more, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And with, we're supposed to gain wisdom as we get older and this type of thing from these life experiences and this type of thing, and how we can value those. So absolutely, it's been a phenomenal experience to me. And then at the same time, when you experience the loss of a brother, it can be so sobering and impactful. And you continue to have those memories as you go forward, that you just, you think back. And my mentor, Brother Clark Scales, he was my mentor once I crossed, and not too long after that, he was passed away. And I did not understand how that would impact me so much, and how moved I would be. And we can talk about full circle moments. And if you want me for a second, because it turned out he was my homeboy, when I met this guy. And we were able to exchange some stories and talk about some things. And you talk about the commonalities in life. Absolutely remarkable experience. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. I feel all of that, man. It's amazing. We had Sister Smith chime in, and we're going to take 2 turns. But the first turn is one of the ones I wanted to talk about. So I've been in public life most of my married life,
Okay,
all of my life, and most of all of my married life, actually. But I'm very cautious about the audience that I brought my wife into.
okay.
Because life be lifing, as the young folks say.
Yeah.
So and folks can be folks.
Folks are folks.
Yeah, folks are folks. But we had a gathering of the brothers and the sisters at my house, and my wife she's a homebody person. She loves to be home, and she's good with that. But after it was over, she said, "Man, I felt so good. Those sisters, they were so friendly. They were wonderful." And that right there solidified it for me about the choice that I made, about the chapter, about the fraternity. That
wonderful.
That said to me that yes, this is exactly the same as what I grew up in. My uncle, who was married to my mother's sister, I can remember making the chicken runs and the food runs for their meetings. That's why, I was good for it, So
you did a great job.
I knew. That's part of the story, right?
Part of the story.
But when he passed, I remember, God, I hope I can get through this. I remember how everybody came through, and man, even now, you see some of the brothers from Upsilon Alpha checking in, man. They were all part of him and that fraternity. That friendship was everything, man. And to see my wife experience that kind of love was everything. As a matter of fact, man, when we were learning that song Omega Dear, man, and we sang it together, I couldn't even get through it without shedding tears. I called my cousin, who's a member of Upsilon Alpha, and I said, "Mike, I can't wait, man, till we both get together." We used to go to the Q Delta balls when we were kids, man, and we would see all the brothers arm in arm, man, singing that song. And my aunts, my mom and my aunts, they could sing it better than some of the brothers, you know what I mean? Because they were part of the family. But that was special. So listen,
Roger.
Yes, sir.
May I say something?
Yes, sir.
From the undergraduate experience, man. My wife was, of course, we were in college together, so she remembered me as a bro in the yard. And I remember when I first got to Jackson State, man. Of course, I knew what I was going to play as coming in, but when I got to Jackson State, I went on a football scholarship, right? It was 6 Qs on the football team. Wow. And I said, "Oh my God, you knew where to send me, You knew where to send me." It was 6 Qs on the football team when I got to Jackson State. Wow. And then fast forward, having pledged undergrad when
did he freeze up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, he froze up.
They would have to crawl over bros laying in the floor,
Yeah.
And my wife, who already knew what Omega meant to me, there was no thing with men laying on her floor, man. She just got a good breakfast for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because she saw what Omega did for her family, man. And so it's things like that, especially as Black men, man, we live in an environment that's so difficult for us on a daily basis. We have to have extended relationships and real friendships, man.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, we become the worst of ourselves. You know. So and I just wanted to say that, brother. You know,
that means so much, man. That means so much, man. You know, and I'm trying to make a turn to a different direction, but we keep on this because it's important. I never forget, man. There was a brother at the church, my church now, and I always used to wear a Howard University pin, and still do, beyond the along with the Omega Psi Phi.
That's the Mecca, baby. That's the Mecca.
Yeah. So he saw me one time, man. He turned around and he came and shook my hand and gave me his tag, and I was like, "Sir, thank you, but I am not a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity." So he said, well, let's see. And I was like, wow, that was deep. So later on, after I had crossed, I went and because he did this to me, now I did that to him with the pen. He's like, and he introduced me to another brother who was there. He's from the Bahamas. And man, again, Sunday I come in, gifts. Another Sunday I come in, gifts. I had the fortunate opportunity to return some gifts to them, but friendship now. I mean, we look for each other. We can't leave without seeing each other, making sure one's on vacation now. And they said, hey, man, look, this is where I'm going to be over in the Bahamas. Contact me, check on me. And if ever you're in the Bahamas, you and your wife come over, you got a place. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. Listen, I want to get to this, man. This is important. And if you guys got time, we're not going to stay too much longer, but we may have to stay over a little bit because this is really important because as we talked about the impact of communities, both of you guys have that entrepreneurial spirit. And I want to talk about that. Brother Steve-O, you are designing clothes. Tell me how you got into that. And while you do that, I'm going to bring up some of your work.
Okay. Well, you know, I've always considered myself kind of dapper. I always tried to be, even when I didn't have a dime to even wipe my forehead with. You know,
he's so humble. He's so humble. He's so humble. Yeah.
So, man, my wife and I actually started the company in 2009. And it's amazing how we actually came up with the concept of the name of the company. We were sitting in church, and I remember looking to my left, and it was you know how the stained windows are in the church.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, you know what, eye candy just came in my mind, you know, because when women see in the South, especially, they would always say that's a nice piece of eye candy.
Yes, sir.
And so I said, you know what, that's what we're gonna name the company. And so in 2009, we started this custom clothing company, man. And the beauty of it is we moved probably 5 times since then, and the company has followed us everywhere we've gone.
Wow.
And so we do men custom clothing, shirts, suits, tux, prom wear. We do some female garments as well. And
oh, good. I'm sorry. So I'm showing some of the looks here, man. Of course, you got some purple stuff. That's man, and I like the lapel. I mean, I love the lapel. I've been fortunate enough sometimes to get some custom pieces. Working my way back to that.
Okay.
But now you pick out you have your customers pick out their design.
Absolutely. They'll actually have the fabric samples. And so they'll select the fabric, and then we'll go from top to bottom of the suit, from the lapel to the pockets, to if they want operable buttons or not, to the slacks, if they want side supports, or if they want regular belt loops, you know, if they want cuffs or straight legs or flat fronts or pleats, however they want it done. You know, how many the buttons that they want, if they want 1 button, 2 button, 3 buttons. However many, if they want to do a double breast, 6-on-2, you know, 2-on-4,
so this
4-on-8, however they want it cut.
This pattern on these slacks, that's
Gucci.
Built. Wow,
that's Gucci. We do a Gucci print. We do several Gucci prints as well.
And of course, this is you made this for your wife?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Listen, guys, I hope you guys we got people on, I'm looking at Facebook, I'm looking at Instagram, I'm sorry, LinkedIn, I'm looking at YouTube. You guys need to share this page. You need to tag your friends, come on in. You got any comments? You got any questions for our brothers here? One who is an awesome clothing designer. Another one, we're going to get into his business, which all of us may need. Man, this is fantastic, man. And see, I like these cuts because is this showing up on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like the structured collars. I mean, shoulders, and I like the large lapels.
Yeah.
I can't get into the skinny lapels. And I like the sleekness, the cut of those pockets. Boy,
the slanted pockets.
Man,
the 4-inch peak lapel.
Yeah,
and that is a 1-button cut as well.
And I can't wait until finish some sessions with Brother Powell so I can get into those double-breasted. Now this is sharp, man. This is sharp.
Those are Chanel print pants. White on white with the black bow tie.
So what is the name for that lapel?
That's a shawl collar.
Shawl collar. That's it. I couldn't remember that. That's a shawl collar. Boy, that's beautiful, man. And these are all designs you've made.
All designs we made, absolutely.
This is my absolute favorite right here.
That's a curved peak lapel. The reason we do it curved because it accentuates the chest and it slim the waist.
Oh, what do you call this?
Curved lapel, curved peak.
Curved peak lapel.
I'm taking notes. Man.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to ask you about that, Brother Powell. And I'm a Paisley guy. I love Paisley. I like the two.
You like the ticket pocket?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And everything about this, man, is perfect. I love this, man. Wow. So I see you got. Oh, look at this right here, man.
Yeah, that's a little Louis.
Yeah, man. I like that. I don't know where I would wear it, but I like that. I really like
it. We got to do a formal ball, man, for all the brothers to dress up and and bring our ladies and invite the public out. And this is one of my. We have twin boys. We were surprised. We thought we were done with children, and we got surprised a few years back with 2. So this is Zane. Zane is wearing a custom tux cut for him.
That is nice, man.
Yeah, that's a 2-on-1 DB. What, just have the 2 buttons?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by the 2-on-1?
You only have 2. You have 2 buttons that's side by side. Okay. You know how, like on a double breast you have the 6-on-2. You have the 6 buttons and the 2 openings. That there you have that's a 2-on-1. You only have 2 buttons with 1, and that's his twin brother Zion. And he's wearing a double breast as well. He's wearing the traditional 6-on-2.
Okay.
And there's something about those young bodies, man, in custom clothing. It's just a beautiful thing to see.
Wow. Guys, listen, you take a look at that, man. You see, it's amazing how this is working out, because once you go and see Brother Powell, then you can go see Brother Smith. It all works out, man. It all works out.
It does.
Let me say this to you, brother. The thing of it is, man, I got into business because I wanted to make affordable custom clothing, man. People have price it to the point where people can't afford it. But all of our clothing is very affordable. I mean, a custom suit with us starts at $600.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Fully custom.
Oh wow. So now you also do shirts, correct?
Absolutely.
And let me say this, because you gave us a gift, man. Cufflinks. I'm a cufflink guy. You do shirts with the different collars.
Absolutely.
French cuffs. I'm a French cuff guy.
Absolutely.
My nephew, who is a bruh, Pastor Charles Goodman down in Augusta. I remember when he was a kid, he used to come to the house and ask me about, what are these things? Oh, Jeff, what are these things? I said, cufflinks. So now he's real fancy, you know. So I often have to remind him, you didn't even know what a cufflink was, bro. Yeah, man. So let me make sure. How do they get in touch with you? I'm gonna make sure I get the matter of fact. Let me just put it up.
Contact iCandyCC@gmail.com, or we're a phone call away. 601. It's instead of the EYEQ, it's I. It's I.
It's I. It's
the letter I.
Eye candy. Okay. Mm-hmm. What is that? Eye candy.
iCandy.com.
CC.com. Okay.
Custom clothers.
Wow. Nice. Here it is on the screen, guys. If you want to find them, it's iCandyCC.com. Brother Steve Smith, Dr. Steve Smith. Get in touch with him, man. Get right, man. Don't go out here looking jacked up, man. You go into these nice places, and now you're a member of Omega Psi Phi. Come on, man. You got to represent, bro.
Absolutely.
You got to represent, man. I'll be seeing you soon about some shirts, man.
And bro, let me say this. It's a shame that the bulk of my clientele are not even Qs, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got
room to grow.
We're going to work on that.
Room to grow.
Room to grow. And brother Powell has just ventured into his entrepreneurial goal, and it is called Live Vital.
Yes.
Here's the website. Brother Powell, talk about that if we can.
Yes. Thanks again, Dr. Jeff. Live Vital Wellness, livevitalwellness.com, where we challenge you to always live vital, And Brother Steve-O and those suits look absolutely great,
I'm telling you, man.
But we're about embracing yourself at all sizes necessarily,
Absolutely.
And we have to enjoy this experience as much as possible. So for me, I am a COVID thriver. I had COVID-19 4 times. And for me to talk to you all today is a very good experience. It had gotten very difficult for me cognitively to even complete sentences at one point. I know some other people have different long COVID symptoms and long COVID, what they suffer. But for me, the majority of it was a cognitive impairment. And fortunately enough, and praise God, I'm at least 90%. I like to think of what I used to be, and with that, I've always struggled. I would say struggled with my weight. I've been I've been fortunate enough where I've been in environments where I really never felt so uncomfortable about who I was. And that's a testament to, my parents and my grandparents and circle of friends that I never, felt some kind of way about it. And as we get older, it is about age management, and our experience was that my wife of many years, she ultimately got diagnosed as a diabetic. And a lot of people in our community, they're pre-diabetic for so long. And what we'd like to be able to do is to help those people to enjoy this experience even more. And at Live Vital Wellness, we do doctor prescribed weight loss medications. Okay. The generic names of semaglutide and tirzepatide, which are GLP-1 antagonists. And you might hear those terms bandied around, but the brand names are more so Ozempic and Wegovy, or Zepbound for that matter. But our goal is to help people help themselves. Okay. And the medications have had a track record for over 20 years. Okay. And now it's able to help people unlock their weight loss goals. And if you were to think, because some studies suggest that minimally, if you're on the product for a certain period of time, that you'll lose on average at least 15% of your body weight. But when we think about numbers, that's a 200-pound man going from 200 down to 170. Now that might sound kind of thin for some people, and at the same time, for someone who happens to be 300 pounds, that'll move them down to 265. But what do these numbers really mean for people? You carrying an additional 30 pounds at 30 is a lot different than carrying that same 30 pounds at 50. And we think about the comorbidities that come along with being obese. You can say there's a vanity piece to it, but the one thing for sure is over 60% of Americans are considered obese, right? And what we want to be able to do is, we may not determine what day we leave this planet when we, but we can have some influence on how we age. Okay. And one thing that really motivated me is to be able to see how the medicines were able to help and improve the quality of life for my wife. I myself, just being a proxy, and I hadn't even started the medication, I lost about 15 pounds because my wife's eating habits had changed. So we're talking about an impact for the entire family necessarily, and how we view food. And at Live Vital Wellness, we also will be working with people beyond just the medications, because there's certain companies that are out there that are also providing this service and this access to the medication. But we intend to also provide health coaching as well as mental health coaching, because you necessarily, sometimes we have these triggers, and in our community, we often celebrate with a lot of food, right?
Yeah.
And if our attitude necessarily and the medication helps you think about food a little bit differently, it does help curb your appetite without the impacts of amphetamines and this type of thing. And it replicates a hormone that occurs naturally in the body, that when you eat, to help with satiety and digestion and that type of thing. So that we have an opportunity here to help unlock your weight loss, right? So if you're an active person or whether you're a sedentary person, it's a tool to be able to help you to live a better life, a more full life. And there's so much research still yet to be done out there on the impacts of cardiovascular health, staving off diabetes if you happen to be pre-diabetic, but most importantly, high blood pressure. All these things are impacted by being overweight, right? So if we can lower those risks and be able to have enjoy as many years as we can, that's a piece of it. Or if you want to fit in one of Brother Steve-O's suits, that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because when we think about body mass index, right, and most of the medications they suggest, and our physicians can go well into this with our patients as well, more in detail. But the medications are basically suggested for people with a BMI over 30, okay? And that may sound kind of high, and there are some disputes about whether BMI is actually a good barometer for weight, but that's what the medical community is using today. And as they ascribe certain comorbidities, that a man around 210, 215 pounds, around 5'10", 5'11", would have a BMI of 30 or more, okay? All right? A female or someone a little bit shorter, that's about 5'4", and 175 pounds would have basically a BMI over 30 as well too, and we often think sometimes that, oh, well, I don't want to be that skinny, and we're not necessarily encouraging skinny. We're encouraging health, and we want you to live vital. Hashtag always live vital every day that you have left on this earth. So yeah, come see us, livevitalwellness.com. We're in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Our phone number is 678-690-5197. We are here Monday through Friday. We see patients Tuesday through Friday. Okay. And so we can be able to be prepared for you to come in. We take Mondays to field phone calls, answer emails, all that good stuff. But yeah, give us a call. We'll be happy to help you.
Bro, Jimmy, is insurance accepted?
We do not accept insurance.
Okay.
We are private pay, cash only. Yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you. So before I started this process of going through Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, for I think it was 90 days, I was a patient at a location where I had the GLP-1 semaglutide, and I probably lost about 46 pounds.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any, just so those of you who may be wondering about, it's another one of our brothers from Lang City, Upsilon Alpha, Brother Wesley Hawkins. He was on the police force with me. Okay. I did not have any side effects. It was a great process for me. I went in once a week, weighed in, got my meds, went over my meal plans, and I'm a health nut, and I just needed a start because I wanted to move from a meat and poultry-based diet to a somewhat vegan diet, vegetable-based diet. Okay. And I needed that start to get to that point. So I say this for many of you who may be out there thinking about, well, I heard this, I heard that. I'm a witness right here. It did well for me. It gave me a jump start. I just recently, through stress over some things, I gained a couple pounds back, but I have a blueprint now based upon what I went through. And I also saw what it did. And for my mindset, for my health, for everything, I encourage people to just go and talk to Brother Powell at Vital Wellness. The address is on here, the phone number's on here, the website's on there. If nothing else, just go talk about it and work it out.
Yeah.
I know that you can find, we'll pay for what we want.
And so, health is wealth. Health is wealth.
Hey, listen, man, that's a whole nother show, man, because I often talk about, especially for those who are involved in the faith community, whatever that may be, our bodies are a gift from God, from the Almighty, from the Creator. And, we talk about how much we love God, but if you love somebody and they give you something, then you take care of it.
That's correct.
You take care of it. So to misuse your body is misusing this gift that we are supposed to be stewards over. So don't come to me with about, how much you love God and, you can't breathe walking from the car to the
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen.
And listen, man, for your family's sake, just try it. Try it. I'm telling you, you're going to feel better. Now, I can't give a complete endorsement because I've never been to his, but I've been part of the process. So I can tell you it works. Yeah. It works. Listen, we've gone over our time. I thank you both. I'm going to put up, here's the information for Live Vital Wellness. Talk to him, give him a call, go visit it, go see the place. I'm coming over, take some pictures and show it on our site also. We're going to do a tour so people can see it because we're going to follow up with this. And listen, get in touch with Brother Steve-O, iCandy.com, iCandyCC.com, iCandyCC.com. One more time, I'm going to show you some of the fine haberdashery that he puts out.
And Brother Jeff, let me say this. Look, it's custom, so I can wrap up the big boys too.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
lose the weight, I can still do it.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. He can wrap you up and tighten you up, man. At wherever you may be. I mean, look at these pieces, man. This is outstanding, man. This is outstanding, man. This is my piece right here, Doc. This is my piece here, man. This is my piece, man.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, I do, man. I'm a Paisley guy. Listen, I want to thank you both for staying over and taking in some of the comments and just explaining the importance of the history of Omega Psi Phi fraternity and what it does more than and you know what, I missed this one thing I meant to talk to you about, this whole thing of lately these people renouncing fraternities, sororities, and HBCU. If you can stay about 4 more minutes. Okay.
Sure.
And Brother Steve-O, what's your opinion about that? And let me say it for me. We had a show about this, and I just got finished a discussion at a church I'm affiliated with, who Dr. E. Dewey Smith. He's a bruh. Tomorrow, I'll put the link up. Tomorrow at 7:00 during this Bible study, he's going to be talking about this whole thing of Christianity and the Divine Nine. Can you be a part of the Divine Nine and a Christian? Great conversation. I'm going to have it up on my page so you see it. But real quick, Brother Steve-O, tell me, man, what's up with that?
Well, first of all, you know, I don't want to judge anyone, but I will say this. I think you're selfish because you took somebody else's place who could have been a part of that train, and to come in and to demonize organizations that have lifted people out of poverty, that have put clothes on people's back, that has fed families who were hungry. And you're denouncing something that plays no role in any demonic sayings or activities at all. So to each his own, brother. I just know for me, there's no mistaking Omega and God for me. It's two totally separate things. The good Lord gave us the ability to have discernment and to be able to do what we need to do in order to to create happiness for ourselves. So, you know, this renouncing and doing those kinds of things. Hey, to thine own self be true, but don't disparage the organization, because remember, in order for you to join, it was something that you saw yourself in.
Wow, man.
Very good, Brother Steve.
Well said, Brother Powell.
Well, you know, my years in Omega hadn't been as long as Brother Steve-O's, and being a part of the D9 family. And I've discussed this with some other friends as well, too. I think that we oftentimes have to reassess our expectations necessarily. And sometimes people might be looking for a solution sometimes to other things that are going on in their life. So they might be looking for it to be an answer for them.
Yeah.
And when they didn't get that answer, now this is, you know, it becomes a negative thing, because at some point along the line, it was a positive thing for you. And a lot of different things can happen that may sour somebody's experience. I personally think that for me, and there is a question where some people feel they are having a come to Jesus moment, we'll say, necessarily for themselves, where they may be feeling conflicted based upon their religious beliefs. Okay. For me, God has always been number one. There's no question for me, you know, and I am a believer. And if you have any questions, and we could do, Brother Jeff, you can do altar call. You know, I'm always good about doing altar call for people. You know, I don't know how y'all do it in the virtual world, but I think funerals and weddings are one of the best places, because you can get people who never go to church.
Totally agree.
Altar call and open the doors of the church to them. But I think I think that you have to be cautious about the damage that you could be doing to that young person, because we talked earlier about the ripple effect, right? You know, and you can talk about your experience, and I think to necessarily maybe get on the World Wide Web to talk about it. I don't know everyone's motives necessarily, but it's just as easy for you to go quietly. You know, you have people who necessarily, they might be a member of a church at some point, and when they join that church, the experience is very good for them, you know, and then along the line, some things changed, and we all know what's inside of here, and if you have that level of conflict, I encourage you to, you have to seek peace, right? You seek peace, and blessed are the peacemakers. And if you can't make peace for yourself, that's a long way to go. So if it's peaceful for you, to maybe leave that organization, yes, I want to support that. Are you creating peace? Or are you creating chaos when you necessarily maybe trying to discourage other people necessarily, or whatever? And for as much work as all the D9 organizations do, in particular Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the work that we do in our community is so critical for families. And Steve, like you said, pulled some people out of poverty. Some people are homeless, and to minimize that, it's challenging for me. It's challenging for me. I'll tell anybody, seek peace, and make peace where you go, So if you want to go quietly, hey, I think I kind of would respect that a little bit more than you going away loudly,
Absolutely. I thank you both. Listen, I can't thank you enough. Let me just add my 2 cents to this. The one thing that I have talked about, I even talked about it on that panel, is that I'm often cautious about those who will go publicly and talk about these organizations that gave them the opportunity to even speak freely. These are organizations, our Divine Nine, our historically Black colleges, universities, and seminaries. We have been given the opportunity to speak freely because of them. So now we go and we attend, and then we go and publicly denounce. I have a problem with that, because the other guy, and they may look like us or may not look like us, but those who are trying to crush D9 organizations, HBCUs, and anything else that are helping out Black people, poor and marginalized people, they're waiting for people like us to say things against us so they can join in and use us as a soundbite to say that, see, even they don't respect these organizations, and that's why we need to defund, get rid of, or not support.
Correct.
Very dangerous in how we are doing this public renouncement. And I say to those who want to bring the Bible or religion into this, come talk to me. I've read every type of Bible that there could be, and still reading. I know I'm surprised my wife ain't tried to put me out with all these books that are coming in. I ain't got room. And I do that so I can be informed when people ask questions. And even in me being informed, what I have learned in my learning is how much I need to learn.
Okay.
And I remind people of that learning is a forever part of our lives. So, that's my 2 cents on that. But let me say this, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jeff.
Thank you for having us, Doc.
There's so many comments that I can't get to right now. People hit me up. They're texting me. They're doing all kinds of things. But we got to get these guys out of here, man. We thank you for your business. And as you can see, brothers of Omega Psi Phi, we are far more than just some hoppers. Now, we got some hoppers now.
Yeah.
We got some partiers, but more than anything, through our bossalist, Brother Jarvis Wilson at Zeta Beta Beta in Athens, Georgia, graduate chapter. Some of our members who we have here, Brother Steve-O, Brother Jimmy Powell. As you can see, they are more than just regular men. They are entrepreneurs. They are giving back to the community. They are doing what these 3 men and their faculty advisors set out to do, and live through that motto of friendship is essential to the soul.
Yes.
And our 4 cardinal principles: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Man, thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions to our audience. And man, God bless you all in all of your endeavors.
God bless you, Dr. Jeff.
We will see you soon. And Brother Brother Powell, I'll come over if you don't mind. Take some shots so we can let the folks know what it looks like. So when they walk in, they can feel at home. So they can ask questions.
Yes.
I need to drop 30, bro, Powell.
Okay, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And you're fairly active person as it is.
Yeah.
It'll be all but seamless.
Yeah.
It'll all but be seamless.
Absolutely. We thank God. We thank God for you, your families, and we pray favor over both of you, your businesses, your family, and your family's family. And our motto is always go out and meet needs and solve problems. Love you all. God bless.
Love you.
Hold on just for a second as we close out. Thank you all for tuning in to the Dr. Jeff Experience, and we look forward to next Tuesday. I'll have some stories from the Conclave. And even more, but we look forward to the experience. Goodbye, y'all. Y'all hold on one second as we close out.